Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Everybody, Russ on the West End Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. If you haven't subscribed, where the bloody hell have you been? But thanks for joining us. And if you like what we do all the good stuff. Give it a like, comment, share, all that stuff. Another ex-Hammer interview today. We've had over 100 on the channel, and every one I love, because it's whether you played 100 games or you played one game. The fans would trade their life to do that once. And so it's always great to get a different perspective of playing for West Ham, particularly, and today's is a really good one. I'm really looking forward to it because, for the title, we got Henry on, and Henry he came on loan on a very interesting time for West Ham, and we'll go through all that. And obviously, there isn't many outfield players who have kept a clean sheet in a professional game as well. So we're going to talk about that. Let's bring him in. Yes, there he is. Lansbury. How you doing, man?
Very well, yourself?
Yes, I'm all right. I'm okay because obviously we won. We won last night, in the Europa League, which was good. We had to come back against the Serbian side, but it doesn't matter. We're doing well. But how are you, more importantly, my man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm enjoying, obviously just hung them up. So it's starting to enjoy life a bit, and missing a bit of a routine in the mornings, but I've got the school runs now. So it's keeps me in the same format.
I know, man. As we said just before we start, you probably retired at the wrong time, really, because the kids were still off. So it was no difference for you, was it? Really?
No, it was tough. It was like being at pre-season at home with the Rugrats running around left, right, and centre, trying to entertain them. But no, it was good. It was nice.
I love it. I think you probably noticed it most when you come up to Christmas, surely, because that's obviously a time that people, when we talk to ex-players, when they retire, it's that first Christmas. They're like, I can eat what I want today. I don't have to go to the training ground.
Mate, yeah. So I'm just looking for even the summer. Like, I've never had a summer off.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, what am I going to do with all these 6 weeks off with the kids? And then obviously Christmas, I was like, let's just go away for Christmas and go and do stuff I've never done. So we're going to try and get away for Christmas.
I did it for the first time ever. I'm born and bred in Essex, and it was my first in 43 Christmases. It was the first time I was out of the country. We went to Florida for Christmas and went to Disney, and it was mental, just such a different vibe. Really strange, but it was really cool, but very, very strange. I don't think we'll do it again. Because I'm quite a traditionalist. I like my things. I'm quite a man of routine like yourself. So it was like getting up at Christmas Day and putting on my pajamas and going to the Magic Kingdom. It's like, no, I just want to watch Only Fools and Horses and Top of the Pops.
Put the roast on, smell the roast, having that few beers.
Exactly. And it was all good, man. But yeah, it's great, man. As you said, a new lease of life for you now. Obviously, you retired, but obviously you're sort of still in the game, kind of, because you've got the grass company, and again, football and grass come together, don't they? Really, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I didn't really notice it till lockdown, and how much respect the actual groundsmen deserve. The whole team, you see, for a game like Saturday, Tuesday, for example. And the lads are like, oh, there's still divots on the pitch, but you forget grass is still trying to grow through. So for them to keep it how they do all the time, they go under noticed, I think, at a football club.
Most definitely. And West Ham have got a few characters in that field with Dougie and stuff in it. So
yeah, no, I met Dougie the other day at a trade show. He come past and hopefully can do some business. I bought him a beer, so hopefully I might seal the deal.
I love it. Oh, how to get to a Scotsman's heart. There we go. Just buy him a beer, and it's one of those things. But we were just saying, it's nice. Even I was thinking about the other day that it's 12 years ago ish. 12 years ago that you played for the club. You still could bump into someone like Dougie, and it's like the banter just carries on from.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like to acknowledge everyone that's at the training ground, everyone that's around it. So like even the other day, I went down to do a bit for Luton West Ham.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jamie, the kit man. I was like, "How are you, mate?" Like seeing him, like come back with some stories and that, and it's brilliant. Like to still see everyone in the game, and like I'm quite nice. I like to think I'm a nice person,
Yeah.
so like, I treat people how I want to be treated. So it was like have a bit of banter straight away, and he's like, "Oh, you're a bit older, aren't you? Ain't running about no more." And it's nice to still like get the feedback. Do you know what I mean? Of people like that you actually might have made an impression on.
I love it, man. So yeah, I mean, your time at West Ham, it's 24 appearances at West Ham. It was on loan from Arsenal. It's back in 2011. Obviously that was quite an interesting time for West Ham. Obviously, we've just been sacked, we've just been relegated. Avram Grant had been sacked. Big Sam had come in, and after about 2 months of him coming in, you come in. How did that happen?
It was weird because I think it was like near one of the last days of the window, and Arsenal was like, "Oh, you're going to be around it," but I was like, "Oh, there's a different." I've been out on loan and I've played every season, so I said I still want to play. I don't want to go and sit in the reserves or 23s, and obviously just train with the first team. And then got this call off Big Sam, and I was like, "All right, straight away, let's go West Ham. Let's do it, man. It's massive." And now as soon as I got there, everyone made me feel welcome. There was an unreal bunch of lads there.
Yeah.
And that, to be fair, like getting promoted, like that was the main thing straight away. Like obviously West Ham, Premier League club, you need to be back where we belong.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right there. And it's really interesting what you say about, going out on loan and stuff, because, I think with so many kids in the academy and, so many sides now having these huge academies, which are over bloated, having the nouts to want to go on loan. As you could have easily stayed, couldn't you, and play 23s and maybe get the odd Carabao Cup game or League Cup, whatever it was at that time, but a desire to want out and go and play. We get that quite a lot. I interviewed lots of youth team players or players who have maybe played through the youth team and then left to go to Swansea or Scunthorpe to then play first team football. That was key to you to play first team football, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the thing. I went out on loan 17. I think I went to Scunthorpe straight away, and you get a whole different perspective on football. Obviously, it's nicey playing in the 23s. Win, you lose, you've got another game next week. Don't really matter. But you're going up there, lads are fighting for their mortgages, fighting for their lives, fighting to put food on the table every week. The extra bonus helps with them, going on a holiday or whatever. And it's just the meaning of football, which you see nowadays, like 23s football, I think is horrendous.
Oh, I agree.
Why would you keep a kid till he's 23 with no men's experience? It just doesn't. For me, if a kid is 17 and ready and half decent, get him out on loan. Has to go and play men's football, because you look at managers. Well, managers these days won't touch a kid unless they've played men's football.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. And I think the trouble is, I think the way the new system, and it's something we've had. I mean, we've had lots of like guys who are involved in the youth team at West Ham, the academy at West Ham as well, and you obviously you know that there's the whole academy of football at West Ham, and we want to see progression. But you're totally right, and I think actually it's a detrimental effect the way they've rejigged sort of not reserve team football, but the youth team football to make it the 23s. Because as you said, these kids are playing with their own age groups up until they're 21, 22, and technically they might be bang on. But that's
the thing, like when the reserve league was about, it was good because I was 16, 17 playing in reserve league, and you're playing against first team players.
They'll
come back from injury or not played at the weekend, and then they're like, go and get 60 minutes. And like, as a kid, you're like, oh, I'm playing against a Premier League player here. This is what I need to strive to be like. And for me now, 23s football is what it is, really. I think the whole game from my side has gone soft, like looking it through the years now.
I totally agree with him. Totally agree, man. It's so true. When you've got a situation where, I mean, you do get the odd kid who physically is developed and can break in. So obviously we've at the moment got Divine Mbama, who's 18, but he's built. He's a big lad. But then we've got a young lad called Keller Marshall who scores for fun. He reminds me of like Craig Bellamy, that sort of nippy terrier type, but he's far too. He'll get eaten up in the Premier League. He's physically not ready, and I think that's the detrimental effect of, as you said, the 23s and stuff like that. A spell out on loan, knock him about. A few burly, centre halves knocking him about would teach him what to do. So, Yeah, I totally agree. And we've done it. A few players have gone out on loan. A few of the kids, like Freddie Potts, has gone out on loan. So obviously you know Danny's obviously. Freddie's gone out on loan to Wickham. So I think it's a great shout for him.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I think he's doing really well, which is what we want, because we want to see players. I mean, West Ham and the Potts name does go down quite well. So to have another one there.
You can go out, earn your stripes, and then come back and then push for first team action.
Totally. It's totally. And as you said, that's what you did. You went and you went and played. In essence, 3 or 4, I think it's 4 loan spells, and then obviously then you moved to Forest and spent most of your first team career at Forest, didn't you? Really. So it's the way it works. But obviously West Ham, you signed. Yeah, you said I think it was almost deadline day. You got the call from Big Sam, and obviously a lot of new players coming in, a lot of players leaving as well. So you obviously came in. You then signed a contract extension with Arsenal a week later or so later. So, that was
couldn't leave on a free, could I?
No, exactly. Bloody Arsene, and getting rid of Ketchup. He's very clever, that man. But so that was good. And then obviously you went and made your debut. Like a couple of weeks later, I think it was Portsmouth. I think you scored in your debut, man of the match. You must have thought, this is it, living life.
No, it was just wicked, because obviously it was a step up from where I'd been, and obviously the atmosphere at the old stadium, mate. There's not many stadiums like that. It's one of my favorites. I'm so sad to see it go, because I love the old school stadiums.
Yeah,
like the atmosphere was rocking, and the fans are like close to you. Whereas nowadays everyone's, well, especially you, like miles back, isn't you?
I'm pretty sure I could probably get back to it's closer to getting back home than it is to go to
but it's just a thing that's dying out. But obviously now it's a business, isn't it? At the end of the day, stuff that goes on there, put on functions and that for everyone else. And football is a business at the end of the day for the people up above.
It is true, unfortunately. But I mean, scoring your debut, I guess it's a 4-3, a 7-goal thriller. Bloody hell, that's not a bad way to introduce yourself into the side, really. In all honesty.
Yeah, no, obviously one of my good friends is Steve-O the Madman.
Yes, Steve-O.
So Steve-O's one of my good mates, and when I signed in that, and
he must have been buzzing for you, absolutely buzzing.
Mate, straight away, he rang me literally. He was sat in the players' lounge. And he was like, "Bring me a shirt out now. I'm having that one." And
that makes sense. Do you know what? That makes sense now, because I was watching a video. I was watching when Con was doing his thing, and he had a Lansbury shirt behind him. And I was like, "What a random shirt to have." No disrespect, him, but and it was like someone like Steve. You think you would have? No, but that makes sense now.
Yeah, I grew up with him, so it was nice to give him something for his team that he loves and dies for.
and a goal as well.
Yeah, it's topped it off. It was a bit lucky. Obviously, keep went down, a little deflection, but
don't matter, mate.
Went in. Obviously, scoring in front of them fans, man, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about 34,000. I remember it well. And yeah, I mean, what's it like? As you said, it's amazing. As a player, at Upton Park, but obviously as a loan player. That's the thing, obviously, because you didn't sign permanently. It was a loan deal. What's it like, sort of, as in terms of mentality, going out on loan? Because like you're there, but
I think it depends on the type of player.
Sure.
I was quite like, I'm playing football. I love playing football. I'm going to go and give everything for this. Because personally, like I have to. If I look bad, then the club ain't going to respect me or play me. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, good point. Yeah.
So I'm one of them guys that will give it my all, and hope I can contribute to the team. And getting promoted was probably, like I say, is like one of the best moments in football.
Yeah, and obviously, as you said, it was going well. Then obviously you got injured, which was you got a knock. You was out for a couple of months, which obviously curtailed that, because you'd have probably definitely got a lot more appearances, without a shadow of a doubt. Came back a couple of months later, and obviously it was a lot of sub appearances and stuff like that. Was that frustrating that you weren't getting loads of loads of starts, really?
Yeah, not really, because obviously being a team, it's a team at the end of the day. If a team's winning, you respect them. The manager's not going to change it.
Totally.
So you can only do what you can do to try and get back in that team. And if he gives you 10, 15 minutes, you've got to try and show him that what you can do to get back in, and obviously train hard. And then, but obviously, I've had it all my career. Just picking up niggles has killed me at vital times. And but no, it's just the mentality. If you stay strong, you can get through it, and then you get back in.
Yeah, no, totally. And then obviously we get through, as I said, throughout that whole season, we were like fourth, first, second, third. We pretty much were we were one of the sides that dominated that league that season. So as you said, Big Sam, what was he like as a manager day to day? Obviously, we hear lots of stories about him, and in terms of him. But obviously, you were interacting with him every day. What was he like in the training ground?
No, he was brilliant, Big Sam. He was different to what I thought he'd be. But when I first went in there, obviously we're doing like a build-up play, and I got the ball, and I passed it back, and he was like, no, Coley, stretch the play. And he was, but know what? He was on percentages. So wherever the ball was, like he said, it was like the higher percent was like 2 passes for a goal or 1 pass for a goal, and it has to be in this third of the pitch, and throw-ins in this certain areas. Mate, it really opened me up, like tactically wise, like how deep he actually went into it.
Yeah.
And he like did knock down to Nobby, and Nobby taps it in, didn't it? It was unbelievable, mate. I was like, how's this work? Bosh. Oh, that 1-0. See you later.
But obviously, you're right. I mean, someone like, obviously, when Big Sam came in, one of the first signings he got in was obviously Nolan, who's obviously still in the club, obviously still sort of in the setup in terms of the coaching staff. And obviously everyone knows him and Big Sam had a good relationship. Obviously he was a skipper. What was he like day to day as well? And were you because obviously everyone must know the fact that he and Sam get on well as well. So was that always a little bit of, it must have been
but that's the thing though, like a manager trusts a player.
Yeah.
And you'll see like a lot of managers will take the players with them because they trust them and know what they can do and they know what they're about. And so having him, like his experience, where it was so key for me. Like, 'cause obviously I tried to play in the 10 for a bit, and so it was almost like watching him in training, like positionally wise, like he would just float about. And I think that year he scored so many tap-ins.
So many, yeah.
And it's like, how's he do? He's not moving, he's not running about, he's not busting the play, but bang, 1-0, Nobby scores. You know what I mean? You're like, he runs off, what was he doing? His chicken celebration.
Chicken dance, yeah. No, he was exceptional, wasn't he? He was an exceptional professional player. Without a shadow of a doubt.
He was really good. And it was a great experience for me as a young lad to go and see him. Obviously played for Bolton for years, didn't he? And just learning. That was my main thing. Just keep learning off people.
Yeah, no, totally. And as you said, we'll talk about we'll go through your Hammers 11 a bit later on. But there was a real hodgepodge of players. Really, you had sort of guys who had hung on from the Premier League. Big Sam brought guys like yourself in as well. Like he brought in obviously Nolan. He brought in a few others, and then you had sort of the guys he was bringing in for the champion, like Vastate and people like that. So it was a real sort of like band of brothers. Really, there was lots of different personalities.
You know what? Everyone got on so well, which like it's amazing. Like that is half the battle in the championship. To get out of the championship is your group of lads have got to be together.
Yeah,
if a group of lads ain't together, then there's no point. And like there's some characters in that dressing room.
There were. We'll go through them later on. There were some good characters and some good and some proper like West Ham boys as well. So like the likes of Nobes and Tonks and Jack as well. Some proper West Ham boys who have come through the academy as well, which we all love at West Ham. We love an academy boy. So there was a nice sort of spread of experience as well as youthful exuberance as well. And obviously one of the main things you remember beforehand is Blackpool, is the Blackpool game. And as I said, there's not many outfield players who have kept a clean sheet in a professional game. So for anyone who doesn't remember, so obviously we played Blackpool with Blackpool away. Rob Green gets sent off, and then Henry puts the gloves on, puts the shirt on, and goes and keeps a clean sheet. We end up winning the game like 4-1 or something like that. Was that ever? It seemed a bit random. Was that a Big Sam plan?
No, do you know what it was like in training? Like I've always said, I'm a good goalkeeper and all that.
Yeah.
And I think there must have been some shooting or something going on. So I grabbed the gloves, and he was like, "Oh, you ain't too bad." And he was like, "No, I can leave the keeper off the bench then." And he put an extra player on the bench.
Yeah.
So and it come down to it, got Green got sent off, and he looked back, he went like that. It's your turn. I went, "Oh, here we go." I remember Phillips and what was his name? Began with a B. Ben something.
They had,
Blackpool.
he had Phillips. Kevin Phillips was playing. So actually, Kevin Phillips and Matt Phillips were both playing at the time.
Yeah.
Luar Bednar,
Yeah.
was it Bednar?
Ben,
think.
that's like a big striker, weren't he? I remember
Yeah.
coming out for one and collided with him. I was like, "Oh my god, he's going to send me into Rose Head here." But like, got my knee up, got my hands out, and then took the ball.
Oh, I love it, man. And
It's
that
one
just,
of my best experiences.
well, that just epitomises, I think that season where, we went one down and we were so dominant, I think, that, we still ended up beating Blackpool with a midfielder in goal, number 10 in goal. And, as I said, he kept a clean sheet as well, which I remember seeing the pictures afterwards, and you just like more celebrating than actually anyone else scoring the goal. It was such an accolade. Such an accolade.
Because I think I started one off to Vazte, I think, from
Yeah.
a goal kick.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is pretty easy, this job, isn't it? What keepers complain about? Just tee it up and to let the boys do the rest.
Yeah, like an epiphany. Go, what have I been doing all my life? But I mean, because of that, you come into quite a prestigious group of players who have played in goal for West Ham. Julian Dix famously played in goal, and obviously, he goes down in history. We've had, actually, Les Seeley went the other way and played up front in goal. He was in goal. He played up front against Arsenal, I think. He came on. So it's a select group, but I thought it was brilliant. Just epitomised West Ham that season. But you said Big Sam, having, that sort of relatively quite revolutionary, not having a sub keeper on the bench. West Ham have two now for some reason, but
the extra sub.
two sub keepers. But if they had someone like, as he said, he could put. I mean, I think it was Phil Jagielka did the same thing, wasn't he? He was always quite decent in goal. But you did it for on the 21s as well, didn't you?
I went in. Yeah, it was a friendly against Germany, I think, and obviously come on half time. The new keeper's come on. Guy got through 1-on-1. He's got sent off, and everyone's looking about like, "What are we gonna do? Just sub our keeper?" I was like, "That. All right, give me the gloves."
Don't worry.
But no, they scored a penalty. Just sent me the wrong way. I tried to guess. Yeah, but looking back now, if time was different, I would have saved it. I would have dived and gone the right way.
Hindsight's a great thing, but we seemed to get a lot of players sent off that year, didn't we? I think we had about 3 or 4 in a row. We got like a player sent off, so it was almost like we knew something was going to happen. But she said I think Vazte scored in like the 90th minute, and I think it was set up by you anyway. So guarantee you didn't claim the assist though in terms of your bonuses, but that man. And then obviously throughout that season, we were first, second, third, fourth, and then we dropped a little bit, and then obviously we got into the playoffs. And you played in the Cardiff in the semi-final at home. I mean, those playoff nights, those semi-final nights were so special. I mean, I remember them so fondly. Obviously, you came on as a sub, but as I said, those are the type of games which make your hairs on your back of your neck stand up, weren't it? Just the atmospheres.
The atmosphere it's rocking. Obviously, I've been through it quite a few times, so it's I'd say it's quite familiar now. Like you get used to it. But no, like it's special. They really are special, and but I think we knew at the beginning of the season when I went in there, the feeling was we're always going to get promoted. It's just down to us. It's all it is. If we turn up, we're going to win, and we have to turn up every game because everyone's playing. Good thing we're playing against West Ham. Let's give it our all, and that's what you're up against. And but no, with a group of lads, you saw how strong we were, and like some of the size of the lads. You got John Carew coming on and stuff like that. It's been little kids playing left back, and John Carew just peeling on you and pinning you.
It was one of those things, wasn't it? I mean that Cardiff game. I mean, it just epitomised, how I think how dominant we were or we could have been, as you said, like, I mean, I said realistically, we could have easily gone up, I think, first or second if a couple of games had gone our way and maybe a sending off here and a sending off there. But, then we obviously played Blackpool, obviously you on the bench. Wembley Stadium. I mean, I'm not being funny. If there's one way to go up, it's in one game at Wembley. It's just, I mean, that's why I love the playoffs, because of that moment. I mean that whole season. I mean we had Coley on a while ago, and he was pissing himself because it was my daughter's due date. That day. So I had a really good seat because so I had like a beer in one hand, my phone in the other hand, and literally, I think 3:00, my phone rang, and it was like a PPI call, and it was like, oh Jesus! She came about a week later, and I got a picture of her in the trophy afterwards. But that day, Blackpool, amazing day for the fans.
A special day. I think it was more of a relief as well, weren't it, to get out of the Championship and get out. Obviously, the name the club carries so much weight. Like, it's not a Championship club by any means. Like, but getting promoted out of that with that group of lads was, like I said, probably a relief more than anything.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Particularly as they've gone and got someone like Big Sam in. They've spent a bit of money on the likes of, as you said, Nolan coming in and people like that. So, yeah, it was a welcome relief. And I think Nobes then went on his stag do that evening to Vegas. So he had a good time as well. But obviously, finishing, what's it like when you finished your loan spell? And are you in limbo? Do you think? Obviously, because you end up going to Forest afterwards, but was there ever a discussion about you staying on, or was it goodbye, see you later, Henry?
No, I think there was bits and bobs going about, but I think Forest were really keen, obviously, and spoke to the manager, and he, like he said before, he was like, "Look, you'll be with me all the time now. Can't guarantee games, but obviously I've been out and I'm experiencing all these things." And I was like, I don't want to sit on a bench. I just want to go and play.
Love it. Yeah.
And he was like, right, hands up, like, I'll let you go. Decide where you want to go, and then just go and enjoy your career. And it's funny because I bumped into Pat Rice the other day. I went to Arsenal United, and he was like, "Oh, how are you, you little shit?" Like, I was like, "All right, Pat, nice to see you as well."
Yeah.
And but no, like the club were brilliant for me. Obviously, being there from a kid, and then obviously when they let me go, it was a sad. I could have sat there. It wouldn't have been me. Like, I look at a few of the boys, they sat there and obviously played drips and drabs, and then some of them not even playing anymore. Yeah. So it's like I think I made the right choice for my career, and I don't have a regret about leaving. But no, like I said, fantastic club. So much respect for them, and what they did for me is growing up as a lad and coming through. And so hands up, brilliant club, loved it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. As you said, then going on, I mean, it's quite funny. You look at, as I said, I think you've been 8 or 9 different clubs, and the fact is, Forest are now in the Premier League. Luton are now in the Premier League. Villa are now in the Premier League. It's great to see a lot of your former clubs doing well, doing well in the top flight now, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I've had some experiences. Obviously, it didn't go too well for me at Villa, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Like, obviously, I'm personally gutted about that, but can't help it. Can't look back in the past now, and it's just good to see him doing well. Obviously, still got friends there, and obviously friendly with all the ground staff now. So it's makes it now. Oh, your pitch ain't looking the best. Need some fertiliser.
Open up the back of the car.
Yeah, I got the truck. Yeah, I get this down. Look all right. But no, everyone's flying now, and it's nice to see. Like, it's nice to know that I've been a part of a club where they've made progression, and I've been part of that journey.
Yeah, makes sense. Right, we've got a few questions, and then we'll go for your Hammers 11. A few questions from the West Ham Network members. Let's find it. Right, from West Ham Faithful, did you ever play in goal as a kid?
Yeah, all the time. I used to love it. Like, down the fields and at my mates at school, I played in goal. Yeah, it was. I love just getting muddy as a kid. Like, I've got a younger cousin. He's now a coach at Arsenal, but we used to batter my back garden. I was like, all right, I'll take the gloves. Just start fitting them at me and that.
It's the thing, isn't it? It's like it does seem to. I remember, I think Wayne Rooney was always a really good goalkeeper in training, and it's just it's just one of those weird things that sometimes I'll have a go at that. I could do that. I'll have a go at that. No, I love it.
The thing is, now my mates play local, like, to me, so I'm like, if you ever need a goalkeeper, just give me a shout. And, come down and help me out.
Gets a clean sheet in a professional football match against Blackpool. But anyway, kept Kevin Phillips out. He wasn't too shabby.
No.
What's from Jan? What's the difference when playing as a Hammer at Upton Park to playing as an away player at Upton Park?
That's a good question. Being a home player, obviously the atmosphere, the crowd's behind you. Unless it's not going our way and it all starts to turn a little bit. There's a few of them, but no, mainly it's brilliant. Obviously, walking out to the bubbles, the song, you can't emulate it. And obviously, being an away player, right, you're going there, you're thinking, right, I'm in for a tough test here.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. So you're walking in, like, obviously at the stadium, you're like, wow, like, this is nice.
Yeah.
But then obviously, you've got to live up to it. Do you know what I mean? Some of they're getting straight on you. They don't hold back there, do they?
They don't hold back. But I mean, coming back as a player, as an ex-Hammer, was there any? Do you think you was? Did you get any ripples of applause, or all right, Ed, well done, son? Or was it like, right? That's it. You fuck off.
I sat on the bench for Villa, didn't I? Last day we stayed up. But no, obviously, like I said, I saw everyone around it that had still been there, and it was nice to see faces, and everyone's obviously so polite, and had a chat with everyone, and seeing the boys and that are still there. No, I love my time at the club, and it was a brilliant experience for me.
That's good, man. I think it's going to be interesting to see when Arsenal turn up at London Stadium and a certain number 41, what reception he'll get. I refuse to say his name, but
no, it's hard, mate. He's been brilliant. He really has. Now he's come on leaps and bounds and given it all for the club. And I think it was it the right time to leave? Maybe not. But I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard one. It's probably it's one of the toughest decisions for a young lad. Obviously, coming from West Ham, growing through it, loving the fans, getting all the fans behind you, and then deciding to cut ties. I'll tell you what, it wouldn't have been easy for him.
No, it wouldn't be easy. We know that. We know that. It's just I think obviously you have a slight lenience to the Gooners. So I think that's probably. I think if he'd gone to anyone else, I think we'd have gone. Yeah, no worries, mate. Or, it's like if you went to Man City, all right, mate. All the best. Good luck to your son. Well, I did
like the song the other day. I think West Ham top of the league, right? And everything. Are you watching Declan Rice?
Are you watching Declan Rice?
Give me a chuckle.
It was funny, but it's like the other day when we, I thought it was quite funny at the City game where all of us were singing "Champions of Europe." We know what we are, and it was just like such a. I love that, but I love that sort of gallows humour that West Ham fans have got. It's lovely. God, no, I think John McCarthy's got the wrong idea of the grass you sell, so I won't ask that question. Asking how much for an eighth.
Come to my shed, mate. Come to my shed.
What we got here? Best. I suppose. I won't ask that one. It's a bit because I think anyway. What's the best moment of your career? Long career, lots of games, lots of teams. What's the best moment? That's some surreal frame.
I think when I scored against Spurs. I think it might have been Carling Cup or Carabao Cup, one of them. And it was one of my. I think I was playing with the big boys, and I was like, oh, Spurs away. All my family are Spurs, like all my cousins and all that, all Spurs.
Yeah, Enfield boy, aren't you? Enfield boy. So yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they sat behind the goal as well. The goal I scored in. Mate, when they hit their net, I was just looking at them and I was like, that's the best feeling I've ever had. Like, get that up here. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I love it, man. Who was the best player you ever played against?
I had this question yesterday, actually, and it surprised him. And, for me, I come on against Liverpool and it was Suarez.
Wow.
But Suarez and Gerrard, right? So Gerrard obviously is probably one of my heroes growing up. But Suarez, the way he picked up positions, got the ball almost knock it at you. So you've got to try and move your feet, but the ball goes through you, and he's the other side of you. I was like to him, mate, I was like, slow down, would you? Give us a break. And just come on. That's Suarez for me.
Yeah, good player, weren't he? I mean, there was that Liverpool era. There was, you said Suarez. You got the likes of Gerrard. I mean, do you know what? I always used to, and it's like a really random player, but I always used to like Dirk Kuyt. I just thought it's like a real a bit of a throwback. It was
workhorse, literally. Right into the ground. It basically 2 last longer, weren't it?
Exactly, and it's like, it's one of those things where, I mean, West Ham fans, it's not hard to get on board being a West Ham, to be a good, I don't know, a good fan favorite or whatever. You just got to put a shift in, and he always seemed to put a shift in. He might not have been the best technical player, but then he put a shift in, and so maybe because I saw him as like the white Carlton Cole. Do you know what I mean? I love Coley, but it's like that sort of. Could do something mesmeric and then could fall over his own feet, But that's why we love Colton. Right, who's the best ever player you played with, though?
For me, probably there's two. So when I was growing up, Cesc Fabregas.
Wow, yeah, good player.
And then recently, Jack Grealish. Right, he honestly, mate, I'm so happy for him now. Like, he's just such a normal lad, but he's so like they don't see the side. He's so like professional. Like, it's probably the training ground. Obviously, he likes to have a scoop, but who doesn't? But just because was flying, he's in the public eye. Mate, honestly, I've never seen nothing like it.
Yeah,
you can't get the ball off him.
Yeah. I think he's definitely a generational talent. Do you know what I mean? He's like one of those players. I think you look back and say, "What a good." Obviously, we've had a few at West Ham, like Joe Cole and people like that.
Yeah,
and he's up there. He's definitely up there.
Yeah,
definitely such a good player.
He's settled in now as well, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and I think it takes some time. At Villa he was the main man, weren't he? And so
he obviously kept us up in the league.
Yeah,
and he took us up from Championship. And it's like, but like now you look at the difference. He was playing 1v1 against people at Villa. Now at City, you got 11 men behind the ball. Do you know what I mean? You like his game was literally give it to Jack. He's all out. 1-0. Like, you know what I mean?
It's true, and then everyone knows it's Man City. Everyone's going to play the low block and play, and that's the thing, with someone like Jack. Maybe as you said, it's not as expansive, but he's a good player. I think he's a great player. My wife loves him. That's the only time she gave a shit about England. So, is Jack playing? Go on, Jack. Piss off. She needs to have a look at how handsome Konstantinos Mavropanos is. He's a lovely looking bloke, old big Dino. Big Dino. Right, let's go for Hammer's 11. So obviously everyone we get on the channel, they put together their 11 from the players they played with at West Ham. And obviously, as you said, lots of good players, lots of different players as well, different ages, different experiences. So it'd be interesting to see. And it's not necessarily the best; it's the players maybe you enjoy playing with the best or whatever. Yeah. Try and keep it to a 4-4-2. You can throw yourself in and get yourself another appearance. More than happy to do that as well, man. Need him. So who's going to be in goal? Who's going to be in goal?
Yeah, me. I'm number one.
Number one. England, number one.
No, I'd go Rob Green in goal.
Yeah. Top man, top guy. Straight, we hear some interesting things about Greeno. As a from a fan's perspective, he was a different type of player, by all accounts. Personally, in terms of personality wise, not, maybe not. Yeah, maybe sort of sit at the back and read the Financial Times rather than get involved in the card games. But what a keeper! What a keeper!
Mate, he done so well.
He was, yeah, and but you're England's number one. He's only England number 6. So according to the West Ham fans, right? So we'll put Greeno between the sticks. Who's going to go? Keep it 4-4. Who's going to go left back then?
Left back. Let's go for. Oh, it's a tough one. I might put Joey O'Brien left back.
Oh, what a lovely! I love Joe. He's such a nice guy, isn't he?
Oh,
Joey O'Brien.
What a guy! What a guy Joey was.
He's he was one of those guys. I think he never really found his spot at West Ham. So as you said, he was a great player. He could play at a number of positions, and that's great. But then there comes a point where you want to be the left back or you want to be the right back.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like he ever got that. But he's a lovely guy. He looks completely different now from that picture, to be honest. He's got all like, he's got no hair like you and me, or like me, for example. But like a big beard, but I love Jerry. And again, one of Big Sam's sort of like
Yeah.
Bolton boys, weren't he? Really?
Very versatile. Put him anywhere. Trust him. You know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Do you know
Oh,
what I
good.
mean?
Right. Let's go right back. Some interesting choices at right back probably. But who would you go with?
I'll probably go Faubert.
Oh, I love Faubert. He plays for Real Madrid. Any player who's played for Real Madrid, although he did fall asleep on the bench. Yeah, again, a lovely guy, Julian, isn't he?
He was great that year as well. He was
Yeah,
really good that year.
he needed to be. You know, he was obviously we
Yeah.
signed him. He was rapid, and then it happens more often than not. How many times you sign someone and then they get injured in training, and you know, he never came. He was never the he never the player we bought, I think. But yeah, I like Julian. He's a lovely guy and still loves West Ham as well, which is great.
Yeah.
First centre half.
Abdullah Faye.
Oh, the man with the scary eyes.
Oh, mate, what a guy! Look at him. Oh, mate, one of a kind.
Yeah. Again, another Bolton boy, weren't he? Really,
Yeah.
and but solid as a rock, weren't he?
Absolute brick shit house he was.
Love him. I love him. And it's that shirt. I love that shirt, even with that little crappy bit of yellow sort of stitching.
Yeah.
And the random Macron sign on only one shoulder. But yeah, no, I loved him. I thought he was a really good player. And again, one of those players that Big Sam brought in to not guarantee us to go up, but you know, he was a Premier League centre half, really, and push up. But top man, who's going to partner?
Winston Reid.
Oh, I tell you what, we had a fucking good side that year, didn't we? Really bloody players.
Was it his volley against Millwall the home game? Oh mate, what a strike that was.
What was it like, you know, in terms of that, you know, sort of being around when like we were playing Millwall? Because obviously we know everything that West Ham Millwall have. Is it intimidating?
No, I love them games.
Yeah.
Love them. There's nothing better than one of the stories I tell people, I went to Millwall, obviously with West Ham.
Yeah.
Got off the bus, mate. The amount of abuse he's getting spat on, and it's just like, wow. But like, mate, come on, I'm only human as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, mate, you ain't got to spit on me. But mate, it went mental, and it's obviously I nearly scored from kickoff, didn't I? That game because obviously keeper was out of goal. And if I was just on target, he was like drying his gloves or something like that. And obviously we've got the ball, and I've seen him, and obviously I've shanked it a bit, and it's just gone past the post. So I said to the ref, lucky that ain't gone in, you know. Yeah. If that's gone in, that's causing an absolute riot.
But the flip side is you never would have had to buy beer around East West Ham ever again. So there we go.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a different. It's a straight. But as I said, you know, you assumed obviously, you know, you'd have played against Tottenham and stuff like that as well. So there's that sort of rivalry you're used to, and Christ knows, you know, all the other sides, you know, Forest and like Derby and you know, there's loads Leicester. You know, the whole East Midlands hate each other anyway. So yeah, it must be. Yeah, you're sort of used to it. But that Millwall thing, I think, 'cause it's so irregular. Obviously we haven't played them since then, so. Not that I can remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's such an unusual thing, and you know, I always watched. I remember watching I watched the Football Factory the other day, and it was like they were doing the FA Cup draw, and it's like they get drawn against Chelsea or something. I can't remember and it's like that's just so like there must be a group of West Ham fans who are praying for us to draw Millwall in the cup every season, and it's like, as you said, come on, guys, you know,
yeah. No,
it's
they're all like, it's a great atmosphere. It's good for everyone.
It's good fun, isn't it? As long as it's not, as long as it doesn't go the other way.
If it don't get stupid and violent, then mate, like abuse everyone as much as possible. Just don't get violent. Like, do you know what I mean? Say what you want.
Right. Yeah, you're totally right. Right, let's go into midfield. Let's go right wing.
Right wing. That's a tricky one. Oh, say Jack Collison.
Love Jack. Lovely guy, ain't he? Top man.
Yeah. Oh, mate, one of the nicest people you meet in football, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly.
He's doing great as well. You know.
Yeah, he's still a good friend of mine. I speak to him now and again, and He's doing well in America.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Huntsville now, isn't he? So, yeah, lovely guy. I remember we interviewed him when he was at Atlanta, and it was like you could just see the beads of sweat just pouring off his head.
Yeah. Well,
Atlanta's a
he
humid
tried to get
place.
me out there with him.
Yeah.
Tried to play, but I was like, mate, your pitch is AstroTurf. My knees ain't going to hold up on that, mate.
Well, I suppose his knees have held up, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, out there, but no, top man, lovely guy, and obviously still loves the club. Right, let's go left wing then. We put Collison, put Jack on one wing. Who's on the other wing?
You've got to go Baz Tay, you know.
Ah, what a man, what a man, and what a body,
Oh man.
That's the end I was at. So I remember him so vividly. What a I mean, obviously we bought him from Barnsley, weren't it? I think it was.
Yeah.
But he was that year was just phenomenal. He sort of fell off the cliff a little bit afterwards, but
Yeah.
that year he was fantastic.
He was, and again, such a nice guy. Like, you don't mind working for him. Do you know what I mean? If he's going to give you one moment of magic, you leave him out on the left. Do you know what I mean? And everyone else would work for him.
And he was just that little bit of quality, a little bit of je ne sais quoi, that little bit of, just as you said, sort of, which I think took us away from the other sides in the Championship. Having someone like Vast, you got Nobes, you got Nolan, you got yourself, you got some really, really good players, and you got that little bit of unpredictability that Vastey would bring. And West Ham fans love that. We love those. That's why we're Hamid Kudus, who we signed from Ajax. He's we really want him to do well because he's that game.
A little bit of magic.
Yeah.
Keeps you on the edge of your seat, doesn't it? It's like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Like,
that's what you want, isn't it? You want to be. I mean, great that we play. It's great that we sort of picking up points and playing this Moyes ball 1.0. But occasionally you want to be up on your seat and you want a little drip of the shoulder or a bit of quick footwork, and someone like Paqueta and stuff. That's what we want.
What a player he is, by the way.
Oh, it's brilliant. He mustard, isn't he? He's the hardest working number 6/8/10. I mean, I think his stats this year. I think he's got like the most tackles in midfield or something like that. And it's like he's like, I don't think he knows his best position. That's the trouble. And I was quite glad he didn't go to City, because I think then City would have found his best position, and then he would have been even better. So but hopefully keep on to him until at least next summer. Midfield, well, I think it's £85 million his release clauses next summer, so we'll take that and reinvest it if we need to. Let's go centre mid. Who's your first centre midfielder? Good choices here.
Yeah, very good choices. Obviously, I'll go Nobes.
Yeah, top man. What a geezer. What a geezer. Obviously, Mr. West Ham. I think to be honest, this was probably the season I think that he sort of came into his own a little bit. He had the previous seasons he had Scott Parker sort of with him. Obviously he had Nolan, but he was I think this was the season that sort of propelled him a bit more into the first.
Honestly, he was brilliant that year. Yeah. He drove the lads to get him back to the Premier League.
And is it important having someone who's like, as you're Arsenal fan, so when you're playing for Arsenal, you're an Arsenal fan, you have that sort of extra dimension. Is that important? Like someone like Nobes, obviously being such a West Ham, fan as well, you almost got that sort of extra. If he's playing
100%.
If he's playing FIFA,
left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
all week from fans say, "Come on!" Like his mates, obviously fans, like, "Come on, we've got to win this week. Otherwise, you're ruining their week." Do you know what I mean? Your mates ain't going to speak to you for a week.
That's a good point. It's like almost like you're playing FIFA or whatever it is, EA FC now, and you get like an attribute card because you're like everything like an extra 5%, and you got that with Nobes, particularly towards the latter end of his career when he came on. That's and you obviously he's sort of sporting director, I think his title now is, and obviously winning the cup last year and seeing him on the pitch, and you feel like there's a fan in the setup, which is
massive. Nice to have,
massive. Right, who's going to partner midfield then?
That's a tough one. There's a lot of them, but I'm just trying to think where I can fit everyone. But
nice.
I felt I'm going to have to go Nobby next to him.
Nice. Yeah, I think to be honest, that was probably though he'd sort of break through when he plays a 10.
You
So
got
yeah.
Gaz O'Neill though as well, didn't you? Matty Taylor, like the likes of them, like they were floated about.
I mean, you had some great play. I mean, you go for that side. Yeah, you said Matty Taylor. He was obviously, as you said, Gary O'Neill, obviously doing the stuff at Wolves at the moment. There was some good players. I mean, we had a really tough squad there. In terms of some of the players you can get in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's top man. I loved it, and obviously, Skipper as well. We've spoken about him in quite length now in terms of what he brought to the side, and top man. Oh, Kevin, I love the fact he's still, he's still involved in the club,
Yeah.
and again, it's. I mean, you'd have certain affiliations with some clubs, and Nolan particularly isn't from around these parts, but he's sort of become
one of
one of us. Yeah. Same as people like James Collins and people like that.
Yeah.
And we had DiCanio here last week, and he was the same. He's like, he just spoke so passionately about West Ham, and it's like, you were born in Napoli, mate, in Lazio and stuff like that, but you're just so like passionate, and it's lovely to hear.
I think that's a credit to you fans as well. You make everyone you take them under your wing, and you make them feel like part of it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas some players will come in and then obviously won't perform and that, and they not perform, but you catch a vibe off them. Do you know what I mean? They actually want to give back to the club and actually mean something to them. Whereas I think you see that you see it. You take them under your wing. You like them. You want them to do well.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. I think as I said, we've had over 100 players on the channel, and as I said, some have played hundreds of games, some have played 100 games, on 50, 20, 30 like yourselves. Some have played like once, and they go, oh, why? I don't think I should come on. I said, why? Because actually, we all, you did what we wanted to do. Like when we were kicking the ball about when I was kicking the ball around in Loughton, or whatever, I wanted to be at the time Ian Bishop or John Moncur, and so even if you've done it once, you've done it once. And he said, you walked out to Bubbles at Upton Park. That's every fanboy's dream, isn't it? So as you said, people appreciate the players, and even now, we'd go to loads of these ex-player nights, and they always sell out every night. Sells out, and the stories don't fucking change. It's like the same people, but people will go and listen to these guys because they've pulled on the claret and blue. Right up front, then who's going to be your first one?
Coley, innit?
Got to be in it,
mate.
What a dude!
Right, he's brilliant.
I love him. Not
many people like him, is there?
Do you know what? There really isn't, and I think that generation, that year, and that sort of group of players was probably the last generation where I think footballers became relatable. Do you know what I mean? As you said, you get the odd one or two. I think, the former captain, he shouldn't be named, number 41. I think he's sort of a throwback to that, very sort of, everyone really loves him or did. Whereas, some of the other football's become, as you said, obviously you were still obviously in the game until last the end of the season, last season, but it just seems that, I don't know, as I said, I could see Colton Cole still doing the ex-player nights in 20 years' time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't see, no disrespect to him, he's just Stuart, but I can't see Mohamed Kudus.
Yeah.
And I can't see, Thomas Soucek.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a little, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's social media. Maybe it's because...
Yeah. Or maybe you see him about the place and you feel him, and he's got the vibe for West Ham, isn't it? Like, he's a West Ham.
Yeah. And I mean, he came back 3 times or whatever, so he just couldn't fucking get rid of him or anything. But no, I love Cole. He's a top boy. And I love the fact that him and Joe do the BT Sport or TNT Sport stuff.
Yeah,
it's why no one has put them in like some advert for like Twins with with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. That's like the new Twins. Colton and Jack Cole, they're brilliant. Such a funny too. Who's going to partner? Who's the last piece to this puzzle?
John Carew.
Oh, bigger than me than you.
Yeah.
What a dude! What a dude! He was such a. Again, he wasn't here for a lot like yourself, but he was just just a big. He's just classy, very classy person. Off the field,
mate, one of a kind as well. Like, there's not many people like him. Calm, cool, collective, and top shagger.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He just, yeah, he did seem to have his own. Seems to do quite well, didn't he? To be
A bit
honest,
like James Bond in his own world, weren't he?
love it, man, love it. So that where's the side? There it is. That ain't a bad side, mate. That'd get you up in the championship, wouldn't you? No worries at all, mate. Oh, no, that's not that one. That's the old one. Let's go back. Sorry, let me get that off. Sorry. Yeah, no, that was where's that one gone? That's it. It's disappeared. Sorry, that was someone else. Yeah, not a bad side. Yeah, that would do me. That would do me, mate. I tell you, a lot of heart in that side. A lot of heart in that side. They wouldn't give up, and that's what you want in it, particularly in the championship. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, Geezer. And it's great. It's great to see. That's what I love, the fact of just interview, and you still your enthusiasm for West Ham. I know, obviously, you're really an Arsenal boy, but it's like it still comes through, and I love it, mate. I love it. Thank you so much, man. It's been a real pleasure, absolute pleasure. And obviously, if anyone wants any grass on the lawn facility type thing, check you out. We'll put a link in the description, innit?
Little grass gains. It'll make your grass green.
Make your grass green. I've got AstroTurf, so I'm sorry, but anyone else? That's because I'm a lazy fucker. I'm a lazy fucker.
Right. Low maintenance, isn't it? It's easy.
There we go. Anyway, thanks everyone. Take care. Stay safe.
Cheers,
stay
man.
warm. Stay humble.
Thanks.
See you soon, man. Cheers. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.